security of data and networks in the defense sector revolves around Zero Trust now. Michael Saintcross is Senior Director for Federal at BeyondTrust's. At West 2024, I asked him about the opportunity for ZT in the sea services and beyond.
You know, what's interesting is we see just recently in the news, Volt Typhoon. System put out that critical warning to cease and desist using certain technologies because, again, advanced persistent threats, aka China, continue to look for footholds on the perimeter, but they're gaining the privilege on the interior. And I think that's where the challenge is, particularly for the naval and defense industry, is where do we prioritize our investments? What are the best challenges to solve? What's the biggest bang for the buck? And I think with the Zero Trust activities that have been identified by the DoD, the target activities, the first 91 and then the second 61 for the 152 total, a lot of that, the first pillar that's being solved is the user pillar, which is identity. But that importance of identity leads to the privilege, and privilege compromise is how the adversaries gain the advantage of compromising the confidentiality, compromising the potential integrity and availability of the mission data. So I think that's really what the focus is. Volt Typhoon, again, was known back in May of last year, targeting Guam and the infrastructure there. Again, probing the perimeter to really get a hold of the center to move laterally. And I think the Zero Trust program has always been about eliminating the possibility of lateral movement. So, from my perspective, the biggest opportunity, the biggest bang for the buck, the biggest security dollar that the missions can spend is on privilege management, not just an administrator, but that's the user side of it, but on the asset, on the endpoints. There's new things we can be doing there that eliminate the ability for local administration to take control of a system, for users that are overprivileged to be a hiding place for a nation state. And that's still the same tactic, technique, and procedure that we're seeing in the news and continually succeeding. So we need to really prioritize that. And then what is the highest risk Zero Trust activity we can be addressing? Again, there's 152. Which ones? Maybe there's 70 that have privilege across user, assets, applications and workloads, data. And now we have a benefit that really raises the level of security on the interior fortifications. Again, because the perimeter is always going to be noise, there's always going to be compromise, but stopping the lateral movement is the key.
Yeah. That term lateral, I think, is really important too, because for a long time, I think people thought about Zero Trust from a horizontal and vertical perspective, and lateral suggests that it's much more three-dimensional than just horizontal and vertical.
No, exactly. And, I still love the defense in depth concept, and that, we get that horizontal and vertical, aspects, but the lateral, climbing the ladder, lateral movement isn't just, going left and right. It really is climbing up. And again, the goal of me as a cyber offensive operator is I want to compromise your privilege control, which is typically Active Directory in the Department of Defense. And that happens to be the prison that we live in because of the exploitability that still exists in our deployments. So that Zero Trust activity around privilege, section 1.4 of the activities is, I still think, the biggest bang for the buck for industry today.
About a minute left. How does one go about parsing for his or her organization which of those or which group of those 150 some are the right ones to focus on today?
Well, I think that's the key. Every mission's different. I mean, we have underwater, we have surface, we have air, we have space, terrestrial, and each of those have areas of privilege control. And I think if we prioritize those, we're shutting down that compromise scenario and getting more effective control of our mission and our data.
It's great to have you here. Thanks for your time today.
Awesome to be here. Thank you.